I got to get the names because I love these. I believe in giving people credit for what they say and write, and so I will have the names tomorrow, or maybe I think it's Thursday. Thursday we have our session. Here's another one. Don't let other people's failure create fear in you and going after something. I'll never forget when I decided that I was going to become a motivational speaker. How many people said, do you know how many members there are in the National Speakers Association? I said, yeah, around 3,000. Is that right? Do you think you're the first one that decided that you're going to be known nationally and internationally? Do you? You're not that naive, are you? Over 3,000? You have nothing going for you. And you will be the only fly in that glass of milk. There's no way you can compete with them. With PhDs and MBAs, people from around the world. Who are you? Les Brown from Overtown in Liberty City in Miami, Florida? Who are you? You're nobody. You don't have their money. You don't have their contact, their relationships, their corporate experience. I wouldn't waste my time if I was you. Well, thank God you're not me. Because guess what? I'm going for it. I'm going for it. See, sometimes people allow other people's opinion, other people's experiences, or fears to govern what they will attempt to do or not do. Just because somebody else failed at it doesn't mean that you're going to fail at it. And even if you do fail at it, change your approach. Don't change your decision. Did you just hear what I said? Oh, that'll preach up in here. Change your approach. Don't change your decision. Alexander Graham Bell was asked the question, how did you continue after failing 10,000 times? And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. He changed his approach, but he didn't change his decision of what he was working on. He's on fire today. He's on fire. Yes, Tyrone, I'm on fire. What do you think about that?
I think you doing real good. Keep on, Mr. Brown.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Tyrone is a squirrel that comes up on the west side of my house, and he talks to me in the morning. He talks to me and walks with me, and he just tells me various things and teach me how to speak squirrely. Now, here's the other thing. When you got something to do, I want to talk to you and give you another point of what to do in and out of the coronavirus. Yes, you need to have a strategy. Three kinds of people coming out of this: millionaires, billionaires, and witnesses. You listen to me, you will not be a witness. You're going to become a millionaire or billionaire. Which one do you want to be? A witness, like the majority of people who are tuning into entertainment? Write this down and put it someplace where you can watch it and look at it and read it and remind you. What you tune into, you turn into. I've made several million. Now I'm working on the billion, because a good man, not a sperm donor, a good man, oh, no, he didn't go there. No, he did not go there. I did. As my mother said, shoe fit, wear it. And if it's not your shoe and it fits, wear it anyhow. That you got to have something that you decide, this is how I'm going to make my mark. I was chosen. I was sent here with gifts and greatness in me. And I'm going to make a presence. I'm going to make a dent. Am I going to solve all the problems? No, I'm not trying to play God. No. But I can do something. And I'm going to do what I can, as George Washington Carver said, do what you can where you are with what you have and never be satisfied. Absolutely. Don't resign yourself just to be hypnotized by what's going on. Your future is going to be bright because you decided that you're going to write it, that you're going to create it, that the future will be kind to you because you are going to create your own future. That's the way to get up in the morning. Just because I'm 76, you think I'm gonna be sitting around watching Netflix? Absolutely not. Netflix is a great idea that kicked cable and all the other networks behind. That's an idea. Everything that exists at some point in time was an idea. I still got some ideas going on in my mind. I still know my name. What's your name? Leslie Calvin Brown. Okay. What is the date? Now you're going too far. Hello. Good morning to you. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. You know homie could sing, huh? You didn't know homie could sing, did you? They didn't know, Tyrone, that homie could go there, but you can't handle it.
You got a point. Okay.
Silly boy, silly boy, silly boy. That's what my sister is saying right now, I'm sure, as she's watching me. Silly boy.
Do you know if there's another father and daughter duo that do what you do anywhere in the world? I'm trying to think. Is there anyone?
I don't know.
No, we're the first family of motivation.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
So you must be enormously proud about that.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, but here's the shocking part. Are you ready for it? She's also my coach.
No, shut up, really?
She said to me one day, Daddy, are you coachable? I'm saying to myself, I know she's not asking me. I won the highest award from Toastmasters International, inducted into the National Speakers Hall of Fame, and selected among the top 5 speakers in the world. You're gonna ask me, am I coachable by you? So I said, yes, I am, reluctantly. And then she pointed out something in my presentation that I've been doing for years. And I became very humble. I said, you got a point. And I made the adjustment that she told me. And it made all the difference in the world. So I said, well, will you coach me forever?
Oh,
And I don't invoice them either. But I think this is a good point. I want to bring this out because I think Spencer can do something with this. Because I love your mind, the way it thinks, right? So Dad used to say in his presentation for years that one of the hardest things that he did, one of the easiest things he ever did was to earn $1 million. One of the hardest things he ever did was to believe it could happen to him. And so I said in the coaching, I said, Dad, when you say it could happen to you, it's almost as if you're positioning as if you won the lotto. There's no ownership. I said, it didn't happen to you. You studied, you journaled, you did the work, you went to workshops, you took training, you went to stages and spoke for sometimes chicken dinners. Like you paid dues and you had this vision that you built and developed. And so it's not that it happened to you, it's that the easiest thing you ever did was to earn $1 million. The hardest thing you ever did was to believe that you could do it. He said, whoa.
Yes.
And
That's
then he
real.
shifted. He never said that again, but he had been saying that for years and no one caught it.
A lot of people don't identify with that either, do they? It's kind of like the apprenticeship as you go through it. They don't realize what they're learning along the way. And also a lot of people don't feel like they're worth it.
Right.
They don't feel like they have any inherent value. And so because they don't feel they have a value, they can't always believe what's possible. Does that make sense to you?
Totally.
Yes, the area of feeling deserving is so major, particularly if you live in a culture where you've been marginalized and your sense of self has been destroyed. There's a guy named Richard Wright who wrote, he was a very profound thinker and poet. He said, the impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of me through the experiences of life. And because of what he went through, he wrote a book called The Invisible Man, that he had lost his sense of self and he didn't even think about dreaming because of life was so brutal to him to keep him down. And so there are so many people around the world. I'm looking at things on television about slavery and people being kidnapped and sex slaves and all these types of things. Dehumanization is more prevalent now than ever before. I guess we're just exposed to the information on it.
Right.
And so we have a lot of work to do. And in the work that we're doing, my goal is, I believe that we should speak to bring life and to give hope, because when there's hope in the future, it gives you power in the present. And that we're very fortunate to be here and to be able to still make a difference, to build a legacy. We feel that evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. And so we see speaking from a perspective that is cause-centered. I believe it's been hijacked by speaking to sell. But I believe that when you speak, you distract, dispute, and inspire. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And so you distract them from that story. Through the execution of your speaking, you create an experience that allow them to begin to see themselves differently, to get out of their history into their imagination. You expand their minds, you touch their heart and ignite their spirit. And they leave there being, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God, and start writing a new chapter in their lives.
That's really profound to me. Tony Robbins was talking to me about Operation Underground Railroad with the children and the people that are brought out of sex slavery.
Yes.
And what they do. And that's the fastest growing criminal network in the world.
Yes.
And those people that have been exposed to that and experienced that, first of all, don't look at what the future looks like. They just dwell on the scenario and the environment that they've been involved with. And they do need to be inspired. They do need to, as you just described it there just beautifully, ignite that fire back in them, because there's a lot of people that have gone through a lot of tough times.
Yes.
And a lot of us don't remember how lucky we are. A lot of the times we take for granted, don't we? And we dwell on our sorrows. And these types of people that come from that place and build again, are always going to need support. And people like you, I believe, give that inspiration to people. I mean, think about it, those motivational videos that you see on YouTube, 1 in a million doesn't have your voice on. All of the others do. They're you. And so your voice moves people, It impregnates people in some part of their body, their mind somehow, and makes them want to charge forward. And that's a very powerful and strong place to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that who you are behind the words that you speak, when I'm training speakers, and that's where my life is now, you learn, you earn, you pass it on. And when I'm working with speakers, I say to them, who you are behind the words are far more important than the words that you speak. And so it's very important. We first work on the messenger and then on the message. I'm merely an inspirational speaker for a Jewish carpenter, but that's another conversation, all right? So, but self-development, that we have people speaking and inspiring people to live their dreams, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So you want to raise the bar on yourself. You want to be the example. You want to be the message. You want to be congruent with the words that you're speaking. Don't practice what you preach, but preach what you practice.
That's awesome.
For those that maybe aren't going to have access to more intimate training from you.
Yes.
And obviously it's a more extensive training that would cover all these things. What would you tell people on how they can organize their voice through a speech so that they're tapping into the hearts of people when they connect with them and sharing their story in such a way that it is an interruption and gets people to transform the way they look at themselves in a more positive way and impact others around them. What would you say? I took Toastmasters 8 years ago. I think you took it, or you were a part of the organization in some way.
Toastmasters. I never took Toastmasters. Toastmasters, they selected me among the top 5 speakers in the world. General Norman Schwarzkopf, Lee Iacocca, Paul Harvey, and Robert Schuller. I mean, that's a very elite group. Yes, I'm the last guy standing.
That's pretty big. Well, I took them 8 years ago for a year because I couldn't stand in front of 5 people and share anything without stuttering and stumbling and forgetting what I was going to say.
The first time I stood up to speak, I stood up and my mind sat down. I choked. I couldn't remember anything. When I spoke in the Georgia Dome, I went to the bathroom 7 times. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number? They knocked on the door. Brownie. I said, what is it? Come out, man. Dexter Yeager, they're pausing now because it's time for you. And I made a mistake. I looked out at the audience and I panicked. I said, Mike, I don't hear the voices. I'm scared. He said, Brownie, they came to see you. You didn't come to see them. He said, come out. You will hear the voices. I said, I don't know, Mike. I've been trying. I just don't know. I'm scared. And he said, just be scared and do it anyhow. Don't speak. I said, I don't have to speak? He said, no. I said, then what will I do? He said, just tell a story. Tell a story of where you are, about what you're going through, and about the goal and dream for buying your mother a home. You know, I told my mother, I said, Mama, when I become a man, I'm going to buy you a home. I said, when I turn 18, I'm going to sit you down, and I'm going to be able to buy groceries for us. We won't have to wait till someone eats and hope that there's something left over. I'm going to buy brand new clothes for us, and we won't have to wear somebody else's children's clothes that they've worn all year long. When I become a man, you'll never pay another bill. I don't believe that women should pay bills. I think if a woman wants to work, she should work and do what she loves to do, and if whatever money she earns, she should keep it for herself. A man, not a grown boy, a man provides and protects. I'm from old school. And so my vision of myself, of wanting to buy her home and be able to provide for her, and I did that. I bought 4 different homes before she passed. That drove me. And so I think it's important that people find something that gives their life a sense of meaning and value that drives them, that becomes their magnificent obsession.
Yeah.
And that's where I am.
I like that. And so what about for people who want to give
the people who want to
and
speak,
share their voice?
Well, I think they should find something that they're passionate about. Some subject that they can lose themselves in. The scripture says, for man to gain his life, he must lose it. And I thought it was about physically losing your life, but it's about when I speak, I go to a place of LeBron James, when they won the championship, he was in an interview and they said, how did you do it? And he said, I had to go to another place. So when I speak, it's not about me. My prayer is more of thee, less of me. I'm encouraging people who are serious about speaking. Don't just do it for the money. You can make a lot of money. I earn more in 1 hour than 90% of the American public earn working for 5 years. But when you find something that you love, you will study it. Something that you love, it becomes a difference between being in speaking and speaking being in you, that you will become not just confident, but you will become competent on that. That when I prepare myself for a speaking engagement, and I still do, because I don't believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And so I pour myself into it. I lose myself into it because it's not about me, it's about the audience. So I'm suggesting to those, and I only want to work with people who are serious, that what we can do for those people is right now, number one, never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. That's number one. That's key, because stories can be used to transform
anchor the
people's
points, right?
lives.
Yeah.
Not just anchor the points, but it creates a significant emotional event. And that's how human behavior is transformed. We have emotional memory. The next thing in speaking, there is some fear, and that fear is always there. I never assume that I know what that audience is going to believe. Each audience, they have their own personality, and each audience, their audience inside of each audience is separated by age, by race, by income, by education. The other thing that's crucial in speaking is that as you speak and as you look at the audience, always take the time to find out who they are, and all that get understanding. So I have a needs assessment that I sent out, and I asked them questions. What are the things that you want this audience to walk away with? What are the things that you've done? Things that's stressing you out? What's the unspoken conversation? So I sent out this needs assessment. I talked with the CEO. I do research to find out their mission statement. I talk to the marketing director, and then I interview the top performers. If it's a sales organization, I talk to the top performers. And then the next step, I interview people in the audience. If you were in my position, what are the things that people in this audience need to hear if you were in my position that you would suggest? I ask them individually, these 5 people. And then when I'm on stage, I integrate that, I marry that to navigate an experience. As I said, Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So when you bring all of those elements in there with humor, with quotes, statistics, and stories, you are able to create special moments that can transform that audience. The other thing, when you tell a story, don't just tell the story. Experience the story, and the audience will go there with you.
Be the story.
Yes, you've got to be the story, the embodiment of the story, so that the audience, as a result of hearing it, that they can't rest, that you start showing up in their dreams. I have one of the things that I love, and I'll give them an example of what I mean, because some things are taught and some things are caught. One of the things that I spoke the other day, and I wanted this group of people that I was talking to, I wanted to challenge them to get outside of their comfort zone and to become uncomfortable with where they are. There's no saying you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. However, if you know how to speak strategically and create a special moment, you can create a thirst where they want to drink. And so when I got to the end of my presentation, I looked at them and I said, right now I want to talk to you about Dr. Howard Thurman, who was one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Albert Schweitzer and Mahatma Gandhi. And when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and my PSA was 2,400, I was pondering about my life. Am I going to beat this? And I was reading his words for comfort, and he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts, and there they are looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what gifts will die with you? I pause, and the room is silent. I said, maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived. Maybe that's why one woman said, what if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? Then I tell them, live full, die empty. I had one lady who, she was 62 and she went back to finish law school at Wayne State University. She said, I'm not going to have that ghost around my bed. I spoke at West Angeles Church in Los Angeles, and Denzel Washington was on the first row. And he said, and he mentions this several times in graduation speeches, that he had a narrow vision of the roles that he would play as an actor. And after he heard that, he said he decided that he was going to play a variety of roles, that he didn't want any role that said, we came to you, Denzel, and you wouldn't want to play us. You want to just be a goody two-shoe guy, all right? Yeah. So I said, wow, I hope I didn't inspire him to do Training Day, because I got sick of that. I couldn't keep my popcorn down.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's about creating those special moments, but the other thing is get some coaching.
Yeah.
From people, definitely. And not just anybody, someone who's accomplished and doing it on the level that you want to do it, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest, but he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan, considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but he never won a championship without Phil Jackson. So get some coaching from someone who's experienced, who's operated on the level that you want to go at. When I saw Mike Williams, who wrote the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff, he was a powerful speaker, and I loved his content and the naturalness of his personality, and he had fun. And so I said, I want to be like that. So I'm a combination of Mike Williams and Earl Nightingale, who was well-read, and Zig Ziglar, who had a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And Jim Rohn has some profound quotes. Just a great thinker, a statesman. But I also trained to be able to communicate. Like Dr. King was a great orator. Malcolm X was a great communicator. And so I integrate all of these people. Wow. I believe if you love this, you will study the people that master it, and you will evolve into creating your own voice with your own energy signature.
Do you have an online program as well for speaking for people that want to know
Yes.
more?
In fact, we have just completed one that's not online, but what they can do if they're serious and hungry. I'm looking for people that are hungry. Hungry people are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. They can email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number?
You did.
lesbrown77@gmail.com, and said, I want to tell my story and make a difference. And we will I will send them the 7 principles of storytelling.
Wow.
And some videos of how to tell your story, and we'll do that free for them.
Very cool.
And also the Georgia Dome presentation and 2 others that I just found that would be just great for them. The 7 principles of storytelling, how to tell your story, and the Georgia Dome presentation, and some others that I just located. And the reason that I want to do that, I believe that if we multiply the voices of hope, messengers of hope, that will provide a message of peace and a message of hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives you power in the present. I believe that we can reduce the recidivism rate. I believe that we can reduce the number of our young men and women that's in the military who are committing suicide on a regular basis. I believe that we can begin to decrease crime and the violence that's taking place all across this country, because evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. Nothing happens until it's communicated. In the beginning was the Word. And so my goal is to multiply the voices out here that will bring some words that can help us to get a different vision of ourselves.
I want to ask you, how many of you have some major goals you want to achieve? Raise your hands, please. Very good. I want to ask you another question. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you can do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands. Very good. I want you to shake somebody's hand on your right and left, look him in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that quickly, please. I say that not to be kind to you, not to be courteous. I said that because it's true. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have talents, abilities, and skills that you don't even know that you have. And in the limited time that I have to share with you, I'm going to share some ideas and concepts with you that I want you to take some notes. Now, I want to make this clear. Number one, everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. It's a part of who you are. We're cut from the same cloth. you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have invested your money, your time, and your energy to be in this place, to be a part of this Manpower Conference, if what we talk about with you at this particular time did not represent a part of who you are, your consciousness and your value system and your philosophy of life. So I'm going to only confirm and validate that which is a part of you anyhow. That's number one. Everything I'm going to say, you already know this. It's common sense, but not common practice. Second thing is, everything I'm going to say, you've heard it before. Bishop Jakes is not only a great preacher and visionary and lecturer, but he's a great motivator, a great strategist. He provides concepts to help people to deal with the whole person, spiritually, mentally, economically, our communities, every area of our lives. Last night when I saw the ministry that was going on in the prisons, thought about the scripture that says, the least that you do unto these my children, you do it also unto me. That kind of vision, that kind of commitment, that kind of stand that is taken with his life in a historical context. One day when historians look back on this age, they will see the imprint and the impact that he's made. The next thing is not only that you already know what I'm going to share with you, and you've heard it before from Bishop Jakes and many other great speakers. Everything I'm going to say, I don't want you to agree with me, and I don't want you to believe me. That's not important. I'm going to share with you some ideas and concepts that's made a difference in my life. I want you to think about something that you want to create in your life experience right now. Some goal that you want. Some spiritual goal that you'd like to achieve. Some contribution you'd like to leave to humanity. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. Why don't you think about some major goal that you'd like to achieve? Think about it right now. Something that's important to you. My first major goal was to buy my mother a home. That's something I wanted to do. That was important to me. I'm one of 7 children my mother adopted. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. When we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. When I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded. Put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I don't have any college training, but between my mother and a high school teacher that I met by the name of Leroy Washington made a dramatic difference in my life and gave me a larger vision of myself. And so therefore my first major goal was to take care of my mama. I really identified with Deion Sanders last night. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. And so that's what I wanted to do. Buy my mother a home. Let her sit home and I go to work and take care of her. That was important to me. And I achieved that goal. My mother passed 3 years ago from breast cancer. My goal now is to raise millions of dollars for breast cancer research. My goal now is to alert men over 40 to get their prostate examination. Last year I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and given a very limited prognosis. One of the things I strongly believe, when we gave you a handout indicating that, doctors should never tell a person that they are terminally ill. What they should say, my knowledge and my ability has terminated. Now you need to go someplace else and get some help. They should determine the diagnosis. God determines the prognosis. So every man here, if you're 40 years old, go get your prostate examination. Go get your PSA test, which is a blood test. Go get your digital rectal examination. I assure you, it is not a pleasant experience. It's not something you look forward to doing. But go do what you gotta do anyhow. I was at a major medical convention and they were giving free rectal exams. The guy said, hey, Les, come on, man, let me give you an examination. I said, no, you're too motivated, brother. No way. No, you can't come up in here. No. How do you get motivated to do that? You know what I'm talking about? No. 58% of men don't go get the test till they're showing the symptoms. It is the #1 killer of men. It's serious. And so, therefore, I'm telling you, part of my mission is to alert you. I came up during a time, we believe what you don't know can't hurt you. What you don't know can kill you. Go get your examination and encourage your brothers and your uncles and your friends to do the same thing so we can reduce the number of men that will die from prostate cancer over the next year, over 40,000. We can reduce that number by early detection. Now, the other goal I have is training and developing speakers. I don't travel like I used to since I've been given this health opportunity. Remember something that T.D. Jakes said? He said, if you got a problem that man could solve, you ain't got no problem. I mean, truer words could not have been spoken. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I'm telling you, I started talking to Jesus more than I ever talked before. I increased my tithes by 30%. I was trying to cut a deal. I said, Lord, if you save me, let me tell you, you think Paul worked for you, just save me. In fact, I was trying to get him to move it someplace else, put it in my toe, anywhere, not here, Lord. Oh my goodness. I tell you, boy. It's amazing how spiritual you can get if you think you're going to die. Oh, my Lord. Yes, sir. I'm telling you the truth. I used to pray so hard I got shaved. I went through so much in 1997. It was unbelievable. Went through that and then also filed for divorce from someone that I loved very much. I thought we were the perfect couple, and I thought we would be together for the rest of our lives. And so I learned a thing or two about life and the challenges of life. One of the things I strongly believe that in life you either in a problem or just left one or headed toward one. So part of what I'm doing is training and developing speakers. I have a gift in that area, helping a person find their message and how to use their life example to craft an experience, a special moment for an audience to transform their lives and teach them methods and techniques how to reinvent themselves. Training and duplicating myself through men and women and young people, because I believe that we live in the greatest country on the planet that gives us an opportunity to make a difference in other people's lives. Now, I don't know what your goal is, but I want you to visualize it right now and repeat out to me with power and conviction. Let us say together, it's possible. Together, please. Say it again, please. See, that's the first step. I want you to think about this goal that you want. I want you to envision it and see it in your mind's eye. And every day, say to yourself that it's possible. See, most people are not accumulating wealth. Most people are living in poverty. Most people are living far below their potential, not because they don't have the capacity, not because they have not been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, but most people are living like they're living because of the fact that they don't believe they can have any more than what they now have. In the book called Miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you'll never have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. That's why Scripture reminds us, be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So every day you have to sell yourself and get out of your mind those old thoughts, that old belief system. Every day you've got to sell yourself on that it's possible. That you got to put a new mind in you. You got to get out of your mind. You got to begin to restructure your thinking. Every day you've got to begin to recondition your mind. See, many of us go through life making choices, thinking it's our choices, and it's not. What do you mean by that? I'm reminded of the great anthropologist Margaret Mead. She was in a restaurant in Europe, and a waiter saw her and said, "Oh, how are you? I'm so glad to see you." He said, "There are several other Americans here tonight." And she said, "Is that right?" He said, "Yes." She said, "When you serve them dessert, let me know and I'll tell you exactly how many are here." He said, "That's not possible." She said, "Let me know after you serve dessert." When he served dessert, he came back and he told her. She got up, she walked around, and she looked and she observed, and she said, "You have exactly 65 Americans here." He checked the guest list and he was amazed. He said, "How did you know that?" She said, "Because in Europe, when you eat a slice of pie or cake, you eat it from the back toward the tip. In America, when we eat a slice of pie or cake, we eat it from the tip toward the back." How many of you, when you eat a slice of pie or cake, you eat it from the tip toward the back? Raise your hands, please. Good. Now, what else is in your mind? What else are you doing unconsciously that you don't even know? I'm going to say something and I want you to answer it after it. I want you to end it for me. Winston tastes good like what? How many of you don't even smoke Winston but know it? Raise your hands, please. Now, that commercial been off the air for 30 years. 30 years. See, let me share something with you. The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe it could happen to me. That was the most difficult part, to believe that given my circumstances, if my birth parents came down this aisle right now, I would not know either one if my daddy came up here or my mother came up here. Given the fact that I was born in an abandoned building on a floor, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, not having any college training, I used to feel all my life that people who had college degrees were more intelligent than me. I remember going to see the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the author of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I used to look at him up on stage and I said, I could do that. I would love to talk to people. I love to talk to people. And I said, I could do that. But then when I started going back to my car, my mental conditioning activated itself. And it said, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have the training. You've never worked for a major corporation. You can't do that. What makes you think you can earn $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in an hour? You don't earn that now working for 2 or 3 months. What makes you think that you can speak for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric? These are clients I have now. You've never even worked for them. How many of you ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. That inner conversation is what's going to haunt you after standing here and saying, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. After saying that again and again, we are more than conquerors. That inner conversation will cause you, when you leave here, to go back leading a life of mediocrity, leading a life of unproductivity, leading a life of poverty. So I'm going to share with you how to break out of that. I want to share with you how to reach your goals. I think the Bible is the greatest motivational book ever been written. Now I want you to repeat after me, please. We got to recondition our minds first. Let us say together, good things are supposed to happen to me. Yeah, write that down. I want you to say that to yourself every day. See, we live in a world where we believe that bad things are supposed to happen to us. I remember at a point in my life, Bishop, when things are going good for me, and I said, this is too good to be true. Something is bound to happen. Guess what? It did. Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you and shall accomplish that whereunto it has been sent. Watch your words. Watch what you say about yourself, about your affairs. Be conscious of that on a daily basis. Why? Because your words are powerful. In the beginning was the Word. Life and death is in the tongue. Watch what you say. Never say I'm broke. Say I'm overcoming a cash flow problem. Claim what you want, not what you don't want. So affirm, good things are supposed to happen to me, and begin to believe that. Begin to expect that. Now, I was talking to my oldest son, Calvin. We were going for a walk. And I said, Calvin, do you want to be successful? He said, yes, sir, Dad. It's okay. We kept on walking. Then I stopped and I looked him in the eyes. It's my namesake, my junior. I said, Calvin, we're looking at each other eye to eye now. Do you expect to be successful? Given the fact that you are a single parent of 2 kids. Given the fact that you decided not to go to college to further your education, given the fact that you're very talented, but you're behind on your dreams and your bills, do you expect, based upon your performance, based upon what you produce at this point in time in your life, do you expect to be successful? And Calvin got quiet. Because see, if you ask most people at the Manpower Conference, do you want to be successful? Do you want to live a life of productivity? Do you want to live a life of contribution? Do you want to be a better father? Do you want to have your own business? Are there dreams you want? Everybody will say yes. But see, want shows up in conversation. Expectation shows up in behavior. See, I can tell what you expect by what you do. That's why the Bible says, judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit that it wants, not the fruit that it talks about, not the fruit that it claims, but by what you are doing. See, what you do when you leave here, when the music stops, when the shouting dies down, your behavior, how you conduct yourself, writing your goals down, deciding to enroll in school to get a GED, deciding to sit into class with children young enough to be your grandchildren, decide to find some product, some idea, some service that you can provide so that you can begin to create some value for yourself so you can create wealth.
One of the things about you, Les, is that your life is such an example of what's possible. I mean, everybody, I want you just picturing this about this beautiful man. I want you, he's born, his mother ends up giving him to adoption to Mamie, he and his brother. They live in these conditions. He's 10 years old. His mother has to go away for a while. He's got to support the family. He's had all these incidents he's had to observe up close. There are other ones with his mother when she's cleaning houses and this woman claps her hands because she's got to know when her mother's in a room because she's going to steal something, which his mother would never do. This man goes on to influence millions, I mean, literally millions of people's lives. And then this is what's great about all of us making our dreams come true. When you make your dreams come true, the dreams of other people and dreams you can't picture also come true, because then he influences this goofy dude, me, 20-something years old, working at an orphanage, and it inspires me to change my life. So it's just, your life is such an example. And what's interesting to me, Les, is it was mainly tied to mom, meaning you wanted to do something great for your mother all your life. And that was bigger, I think, than any obstacle that got in your way. I'd like you to share this with people because I think most people don't understand the power of having something big you're going after that means more to you than the pain you're going to have to go through in order to get it. I don't think enough people set huge, big goals that are from the heart. Don't you agree?
Yes, you said that. I was listening to you last night. You know, Dexter Yeager, as you know from Amway, he said if the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter. And so when you say dream big, that's major. One, there's power in pursuit, because as Jim Rohn said, it's not the accomplishment of the goal that matters. It's what you become in pursuit of the dream in the process. Because when you have a big dream, it will introduce you to a part of yourself that you don't know right now, that you will never discover in your comfort zone. Because in order to achieve that dream, you've got to die to who you are now. I must die daily. You must die to who you are now to give birth to who you are to become. I believe that all of us have stories of greatness in us. And follow me as I say this, as this download. We all have stories of greatness within us. In the beginning was the Word. Thou shalt decree a thing and shall be established unto you. When shall the kingdom of God come? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When shall it come? The kingdom of God cometh not by observation. They shall say, is neither lo there, lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. And that kingdom is voice activated. So when you speak, people who are in a dark place, you will bring them out into the light. When you speak, somebody's got a gun to their head. When you speak, they'll realize life is God's gift to me, and how I live my life is my gift to God. When you speak, someone who's depressed and feeling anxious will remember, be anxious for nothing. I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. So that's the power that you bring, and all the products that you have on YouTube that I mean, how ironic. They said, coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. I've been so marinated listening to your stuff. And then you've been listening to me. Come on, look at God. What a mighty God we serve. Come on. You can't make this stuff up.
That's like my honor to think that you listening to my stuff. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
you guys, you just get what I told you all, you just have this treasure. It's like, you never want to stop hearing from Les. I mean, he's just remarkable. And the way you pull things and download them from all these places is just, it's mind blowing. I wish I were that great. You are the messenger and you are the message. That's made, you got people who are speaking out here. It's been hijacked with speaking to sell. We sell people on their greatness. We sell people on the things that they need to do now, the methods, the techniques, the strategy to create the next greatest version of themselves. And when we do that, we know that when we make that kind of impact, we know that we're in the place of what Leo Tolstoy, the Russian author, he said, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone and destroyed when I'm gone? And the people that listen to your program and their mind and their vision has been expanded, you give them a vision of themselves beyond the adversities of what they're experiencing in this place where we are right now, and help them to begin to live their life from a place of optimism, that they're going to impact other people, and those people are going to impact other people. And this work that you, as much as you have chosen this, you were chosen for this, and this work will not be undone. You're going to impact generations yet unborn.